Sustainability often talks about as a cost. You frame it as a value-driven. Can you share an example where smart sustainability strategies delivered both environmental and financial benefits for a client?
Yes, solar. Everybody has an opinion on solar, especially in Alberta. Institutional owners, regardless of where you're sitting in Canada, they are wise to the undeniable fact that for rooftop solar on a warehouse in Alberta, the math pencils out. It's a function of the market, the electricity market, deregulated grid, and a lot of sunshine and low install costs. Why all those exist perfectly, it just happens to fold into the new revenue stream for building where an owner can retain carbon credits, pass savings on to tenants.
What personal qualities do you think have played the biggest role in your success in getting to where you are today?
I take great pride in knowing what I don't know, and that's a lot. Getting the right experts and right voices around the table when I'm out of my depths, that was a lesson that I learned early on. And my wife says I talk to strangers way too much and for way too long, so perhaps the interest in communication is a personal quality that might have benefited.
Hi everybody, I'm Jared Sarvit and this is Mastering Property Management. Today I have the honor and privilege of having Graham Halsall on, the president of Halsall Building Solutions. Graham, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
Yeah, truly my pleasure. Graham, let's get right into it. You've had a really fascinating career path from renewable energy installations in Kingston to leading sustainability for a national real estate platform and now launching Halsall Building Solutions. Take me through the major milestones of your career and what got you where you are today.
Well, I'm 3 generations deep in the buildings world, and my family's dinner table conversations tended to revolve around how buildings worked and mostly how they failed. The parts of those discussions that I liked was around how they could be fixed. My first real job was in Calgary, assessing sealant on the side of Home and Dome towers in November, chilly November, and on a swing stage, day in, day out. It was necessary work, it was important work, and it was cold, but I learned a lot about what I was not interested in, and that is sealant. Around 2010, I was on the consulting side, and we were hired to get the University of Calgary downtown campus, which was a Northwest Healthcare Properties development, LEED certification. Nobody knew what they were doing when it came to LEED at the time, regardless of what they say, but I'd written the test a couple of years prior. The design team, contractors, suppliers, me, we were all flying by the seat of our pants, but we all worked together pretty hard to figure it out and got the redevelopment LEED Silver. The next 5 years in this province saw a pretty good boom for development. And that was neat to be involved in, largely from the sustainability and performance side of buildings, for a lot of the towers in Calgary and Edmonton in particular. 2014 hit, and the building boom stopped. Late 2014, I started up the Western Canada operations for a Toronto-based firm known as Energy Profiles Limited, now called Brightly, now owned by Siemens. And we focused on building operations and using data to identify opportunities to tune up existing buildings. I value unique opportunity presented itself, where the combination of software and combination of people, boots on the ground, engaging property teams was really special at the time and taught me a lot about the importance of the humans of this industry. And most recently, during COVID, I switched sides at the table and went to head up the sustainability team for a third-party developer and manager, formerly known as One Properties. That was an interesting role in learning how institutional clients tick, what their drivers are, values, priorities, and how they make decisions. They typically operate behind somewhat of a veil of secrecy, so it was neat to be involved in those discussions on the other side of the table. Now, of course, starting a new company from scratch is the ultimate milestone, and it's exciting at most times and very daunting at others.
Yeah, amazing. Well, tell me a little bit about Halsall Building Solutions.
Sure. We're an Alberta-based commercial real estate consultancy, as I said, founded in 2025, and we work with building owners and managers across Canada to strategize and execute on both building level and portfolio-wide projects. We have a particular eye on technical expertise, sustainability, and ultimately protecting asset value.
Amazing. Okay, very good. So you're not just focused on sustainability. It's more than that. I mean, that's obviously a big component. Is that right? But yeah. So tell me, go a little deeper into what are your what can people expect from when you're working in their properties?
Sure. Yeah. The tagline I like to use is helping buildings work better for people on the planet. And having worked with many building owners and funds over the years, most of them have plans and roadmaps for getting their properties to a certain performance level. And whether that's performance from tenant expectations and happiness, or whether that's energy metrics, water metrics, whatever it is, a lot of these properties and portfolios have set expectations. Execution remains pretty unclear across the industry. And so Halsall Building Solutions provides almost outsourced technical expertise to help move from plan to action. And we also like to look beyond the typical 5-year or less payback driver. That's a bit of an outdated way of getting projects done and moving the needle. So that's the genesis of Halsall was born.
Wonderful. Thank you. If you can give me just 30 seconds of your time. First off, thank you for tuning in to the Mastering Property Management podcast. We truly appreciate you spending your time with us. This show is proudly sponsored by Picture Perfect Cleaning, where we believe in creating spaces that smile. If you're enjoying the insights here, I'd love for you to dive in a little deeper. We've put together a blog called 8 Common Themes in Property Management Leadership. It's packed with lessons we've gathered from top leaders in the industry. The link is included in the show notes for this episode. And while you're there, feel free to browse our website. See how Picture Perfect Cleaning supports property managers like you every day. Thanks again for listening. And now let's get back to the show. Looking back, what personal qualities do you think have played the biggest role in your success in getting to where you are today?
I take great pride in knowing what I don't know, and that's a lot. So getting the right experts and right voices around the table when I'm out of my depths, that was a lesson that I learned early on. And my wife says I talk to strangers way too much and for way too long. So perhaps the interest in communication is a personal quality that might have benefited.
Yes, a strength and for some a weakness, man.
Perhaps. Yeah.
It's a strength. It's a strength. Yeah, awesome.
Perhaps.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great quality to have. Very good. So knowing what you don't know. So does that mean are you often got a curious mind trying to learn what you don't know, or do you just kind of say, I don't know, I'm going to find someone that knows better than me, or a bit of both?
Well, that's the whole thing with the sustainability space. The discussions move so fast, technology is advancing so quickly that if you're not on top of the ball, you get left behind. So there's always this expectation. Especially from client side, they'll call with some wacky questions, but they expect that you have heard about the latest and greatest trend, and you can have an informed opinion or data point on whether this is a good or bad idea. So yeah, the curiosity inherently comes with the role. But in terms of collaboration across the industry, construction and development's typically been pretty siloed in the past. So I do really enjoy the opportunity to reach out and collaborate with those who focus on specific roles and are experts instead of trying to be a jack of all trades, master of none.
Makes sense. Awesome. As you mentioned, you spent 4 years at One Properties building out their ESG platform and leading the decarbonization and social impact initiatives. What was the most rewarding project or achievement during that time?
The role is unique. The team included property management, accounting, operations, asset management, and together, maybe I was the quarterback or the instigator, but we modernized the entire property accounting process and automated everything from utility bills and how they're received and processed and approved, right through to building performance and analytics. So kind of the soup to nuts opportunity of giving much better time leverage to the teams. They can focus on more important things. We let software tackle data entry and analysis. And then it's almost a bit of precision operations, because then we get flags when there are resolutions required. And so whether that's a billing error or whether that's an issue on site, this took a long time, but had good enduring value. And again, learned a lot in the process.
Amazing. So you were forming these, software on sites, like you maybe working with software and setting up the metrics that you were looking to measure. Is that kind of what?
That's right. Yeah, and you scan the market to see what the offerings look like, and you can get the very light options, you can get the very heavy options, and somewhere in the middle there's a sweet spot. Getting there took a little bit of time. Going through all the dog and pony shows from software vendors. But some of those shows were good. And yeah, we settled on a good solution that spanned the entire portfolio, which was the priority: consistency across the country.
Amazing. And it was one properties across the country? Were they?
Edmonton,
No,
Calgary, and GTA.
GTA. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they have far stretch. Yeah, awesome. Graham, sustainability often talks about as a cost, is often talked about as a cost. You frame it as a value driven. Can you share an example where smart sustainability strategies delivered both environmental and financial benefits for a client?
Yes, solar. Everybody has an opinion on solar, especially in Alberta. Institutional owners, regardless of where you're sitting in Canada, they are wise to the undeniable fact that for rooftop solar on a warehouse in Alberta, the math pencils out. It's a function of the market, the electricity market, deregulated grid, and a lot of sunshine and low install costs. Why all those exist perfectly? It just happens to fold into the new revenue stream for building, where an owner can retain carbon credits, pass savings on to tenants. And we've spent a lot of time assessing options and models. And honestly, Jared, happy to share this information with anybody who's interested or wants to chat. A few misnomers in the industry, so any education, I figure, helps. We also, personally, we've got a 9 kilowatt array on our house, and we don't pay an NMAX bill. So we don't pay electricity, gas, water, or recycling for 5 months of the year, given how much it generates. And so that's an 8-year payback. And if you can find a sustainability related project that generates revenue for a building, that's unique. And then something that's as lucrative as selling solar to the grid all day. Pretty good opportunity.
So is that a big focus of yours, is, speaking to the commercial properties, here in Calgary and I imagine beyond, and saying you should really consider solar on your properties? Because I imagine many of them don't have that.
Yeah, fair comment. I'd say a lot of the asset management and sustainability folks who sit outside of the province are very interested in learning why we have found the math works in Alberta. And so a bit of enlightenment. But yeah, we've got a lot of financial models that show different scenarios, and at the end of the day, it's a net benefit to a tenant. If it weren't, we wouldn't spend our time on it. But it's been a very interesting couple of years in this space.
Yeah, no kidding. I imagine it depends on the size and whatnot, but the return on a commercial building, is it also like an 8-year return, or is it a little bit longer? Or I imagine there's a lot of variables there.
Yeah, a lot of variables. Think 9 to 11 to start, and then
11, yeah,
up to sub 15.
Yeah.
If it's an unfortunate scenario, but yeah, you're factoring in roof condition and
right,
and some other non-directly solar related things.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. If you own your properties, it sounds like it's a no-brainer for those that own the assets.
And tenants now, the heavy using tenants who are sick of massive electricity bill, they're asking if they can have roof rights to put up their own solar array. Uh, Welding shops, high intensity electricity users, they are quite keen on this.
Interesting. All right. Very cool. Decarbonization, net zero transition, climate resilience. These are all major industry buzzwords. From your perspective, which of these areas do you think will most transform the commercial real estate industry over the next decade?
They are buzzwords indeed. Most properties have some sort of objective or mandate. For some, it's just make money, do nothing else. Fine. Perhaps that's short-sighted, because insurance companies and lenders are getting more vocal about their long-term objectives and exposure. And these include climate considerations and risk. So if I'm a lender or an insurer and I keep having to pay out claims on an asset, eventually I'll stop being interested in covering it, which I don't think anyone would argue. But more broadly, there's an entire asset class that's becoming increasingly risky due to high operating costs, due to perhaps poor performance or insurance claims, and they become undesirable from a tenant or resident standpoint. So they're incurring, the term brown discounts has been thrown around before, in their valuations, and owners are left holding the bag on an undesirable asset, which is not what they're in the business of doing.
Right. Interesting. You've also been a leader in social sustainability, from Indigenous community commitments to giving programs. Why is this piece as important as the technical side of ESG?
I saw a stat the other day, Jarrett, that 60% of millennials would take a pay cut to work at a company with a strong purpose, as opposed to one that's unclear. And that was pretty telling. Yeah. This is the bulk of the workforce that's going to be taking over soon. And I once worked parallel to a guy who berated me on this topic, and to my earlier comment, he said, real estate is about money and nothing else. Keep these social topics out of real estate. Doesn't belong. Not a business fundamental. And so, pretty odd comment, I thought. Sure, real estate's driven by money, yes. But here's the thing, real estate's also about people, and we house them, feed them, give them workplaces, employ them. They're about what's happening with the occupants of these buildings. So I've historically thought, and business practice has proven true, that aligning company purpose with property levels initiatives is a good business practice and supports community well-being. So what's the downside? Haven't found it.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Purpose is so critical. And being a part of a community. I actually just recently wrote a blog, and that was one of the big themes. I identified the top 8 themes of property managers of my podcast over the last 40-ish episodes. And one of the themes was exactly that: the community, people, and giving back and giving purpose. It's super important. So good for you for recognizing that, and shame on that other gentleman for thinking it's all about money. I mean, at the end, listen, it's about bottom line, but it's not just a good thing to do. It's a good business thing to do to build culture, give purpose.
Totally agree.
So, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. You recently announced that your new role is senior advisor, strategy and growth for Circuit. Who I know fairly well. Those guys are great people. Their platform delivers real-time building insights on leaks, IAQ, occupancy, and more. What excites you most about this partnership, and how do you see it changing the way owners and managers risk the tenant experience?
Yeah, they're a neat bunch of Circuit, and I'm most excited about getting insights on properties, or property level data for that matter, without needing to go to the site. And for simple stuff like whether a door has been propped open at a warehouse in January and pipes are about to explode, those proactive, preventative opportunities, or solving long-term issues like retrieving whole building utility data for retail center, occupancy counts, traffic movement through the plus 15, say. So these are very, very big problems, but the circuit team has come up with very simple, high value, affordable solutions to get there. And ultimately, there's a looming shift in how insurers are viewing their proactive risk management programs and what they're prioritizing. So Circuit's onto something by enabling this remote cloud-based intel and alerts for property. And in the insurance world, they're all about, yeah, we think it's a good idea. We need to collect more data. So we've been waiting patiently for years in the real estate industry for insurers to recognize good behavior in this risk management arena. And I hope the dam's about to break, but insurers are starting to acknowledge the good behavior, and they're starting with reductions in property deductibles. So we saw one client's deductible down 60%. It's $150,000 of savings on the deductible because they've got proactive leak detection. And since they have taken on a new broker, there have been no claims for leaks. So the data is finally becoming beneficial from an insurer standpoint. Next up, hopefully, will be premium reductions, but we're working on them. If anyone's
amazing, yeah, it's a no-brainer. We were looking at it from a janitorial perspective, looking at Circuit, looking at the counts going into the washroom, knowing the number of traffic, and really trying to understand, okay, at what point do we trigger a washroom clean based on traffic versus going in every 15 minutes and just creating those efficiencies. And there's so many implications of their technology. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, and we're just off the phone with guy who was asking how this sort of precision cleaning, if they put sensors in everywhere, how can this precision cleaning program impact their op costs, as an ultimate net saving to tenants in the building who are paying the operating costs. And yes, of course there is. Quantifying it, we'll get there. But
yeah. You almost need to have like an A and B, like half the building not, half the building with, and test it out. Like it would require a lot of creativity and investment to quantify it, I think. But there's some neat stuff. The other one that I didn't talk to Circuit about, but I've been meaning to, well, now it's going to be public, but is garbage monitoring as well. Monitoring the levels of garbage once it hits, a certain point, maybe it's 25% full or whatever. Then we get triggered to go, okay, time to go change that garbage. There are little things like that could go just such a far, create so many efficiencies. It's amazing.
Fully agree. Yep.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So you've served in leadership roles with NAIOP, GRESB, lots of acronyms here, BOMA Calgary, and the Energy Futures Lab. How have these experiences shaped your views on the collaboration in advancing sustainability across the industry?
The industry's traditionally so siloed, and whether it's construction, property management, you have development that operates relatively independently from property management, which operates independently from tech services. And not to say that makes sense, just the way that the organizations have evolved. So there's a great push for the organizations you mentioned, NAIOP, BOMA. A bunch of the members are pretty consistent across these groups. And so there's more and more collaboration and I'd say sharing of successes and barriers and joint opportunities for engagement. But from a traditionally siloed industry where we keep secrets hush hush, there's a lot more collaboration and conversation happening, which is nice to see. And most of these organizations are actively involved in joint, say, engagement efforts. I want to stay away from the word lobbying, but with provincial government locally in Alberta on utility market restructuring, we have brought the cavalry to the table so that we can give a well-rounded opinion and experience from everything from regulators to electricity generators to large scale consumers. And we're finally witnessing the fruits of our coordinated efforts. That's been 3, 4, or 5 years in the making, but it's pretty rewarding, and it wouldn't have happened without industry coming together with a unified message. And the other piece on industry collaboration is around succession in the real estate and construction world. Trades, property management, building operations, there's a succession pipeline that's a little dry, and so we collectively are trying to engage the younger population. Calgary Construction Association as well, they're doing a great program within elementary and high schools, and all the way through colleges and universities, to try and explain the different paths that can be taken in real estate. And you speak to anybody, well, as your previous episodes will attest, it's very rarely a linear path to where the folks have gotten. And so now the message, again, is becoming a little more coordinated in terms of opportunities to help with grants. BOMA Calgary has a excellent bursary program to advance career growth. And it's not limited to one particular role, but across the industry, I'd say that's becoming a very important message as well.
Right. Wonderful. Very good. And what's your involvement with BOMA, by the way? I believe you're heavily involved, or you were,
Yeah.
or you still are? Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry, that bursary is from the BOMA Calgary Foundation. I'm on
Yes.
I'm on the board and I'm the treasurer of BOMA Calgary.
Right. Gotcha. You're the treasurer of BOMA Calgary.
That's right.
Yeah. Great. And how long have you been doing that for?
Oh, board since 2022, and before that, I was your traditional pipeline guy for succession planning. Started in the Next Generation Committee, co-chaired that for a while, co-chaired BOMEX 2019. So you start to see these different leadership opportunities within the whole BOMA sphere, and see what interests you, see what doesn't interest you, and it's been a good evolution over the past.
That's amazing. What inspired you to be so involved with BOMA?
Honestly, it was the experience of being young in the industry, not knowing anybody, and in the old days, you'd go to an event to try and network, and I was in consulting. You want to go meet people, and it was very difficult to crack that BOMA nut because it was a bit of a club. Over the years, and perhaps it's because younger generations coming up through the ranks, I hope that folks feel the organizations become more welcoming, more inclusive, and there's been a very intentional approach in terms of engaging the membership, bringing in new members, and new events, new opportunities for groups to get together who might not otherwise chat.
Very cool. Yeah, I've definitely seen that firsthand. Very welcoming
Right.
group of people. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so good job. Yeah. Awesome. With so much experience, if you could give one piece of advice to a property manager or building owner just starting to think seriously about sustainability, what would that be?
The space is so multifaceted that no role is beneath you. A well-rounded skill set and a lot of humility will take you far. And as you mentioned earlier, willingness to learn, that's going to be a lifelong objective. There's no real end to the learning opportunity.
Yes, amazing. Great advice. Great advice. Thank you. So janitorial services are often overlooked when it comes to sustainability, but cleaning products, equipment, waste management, all play a big role in buildings' environmental footprint. From your perspective, how can property managers and service providers work together to make janitorial operations more sustainable while still keeping tenant experience front and center?
You're bang on, Jared. So many cool initiatives have emerged recently in using and leveraging the results coming out of equipment and property technology, automation, and AI, all to have a lowered impact on the planet and ultimately the best leverage of people's time. Let them focus on what's important. And precision cleaning, we've seen using LiDAR-based tracking, so the robotic devices that are seemingly flooding the market now. Recycling programs, reuse programs that are trending towards 100% diversion in some cases, and healthier cleaning products that still perform as well as their counterparts. They're all ways in which we're seeing janitorial companies really contribute and help differentiate a property while adding value to the bottom line of tenant well-being, retention, and op costs.
Very cool. We need to talk. I would love to talk offline and just learn, more from you and what we can do as a company. So that's, let's definitely chat about that. So
Yeah, great.
excellent. Okay, now for a few fun questions. If you can manage or consult on any famous property in the world, which property would that be and why?
Have you been to Barcelona?
Funny enough, I haven't, but my business partner just flew back from there yesterday. So he was
great.
just there. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was telling me, I was just on the phone with him this morning. He was telling me all about it. So
Pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
The Sagrada Familia Church in Barcelona is my answer.
He was telling me about it. Yeah.
Who would not want a piece of a construction project that's been going on since 1882?
Right.
That's
and still not complete. Yeah. That's so funny. He was telling me how incredible it was. That's the first thing he brought up. Actually, was that church. Yeah.
Let's be.
How do you think they're doing for sustainability?
They've probably seen it all. And I don't know, another 100 years of construction, who knows where they'll be.
I wonder if they have solar panels up there yet. But I'd be a little surprised. But you should go talk to him. But no, very cool. I love that answer. Thank you. And then finally, if you could recommend any book to property managers, and maybe it's about sustainability, maybe it's not. But which book would that be?
I have two answers for you, Jared. Talking Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's neat insight into how humans are by nature trusting, but that tends to lead to very inaccurate perceptions of people that they don't know. So very applicable to our business and engaging with new people all the time. A bit of psychology behind how we tend to treat those initial interactions.
Sorry, before you end that one, so is that a newer book? Because I know Tipping Point, I know Blink. There was another one I read, I can't remember, the 10,000 Hours one. Is that more a recent book or from Malcolm Gladwell?
It would be more recent than Tipping Point, more recent than Blank. I don't know the year on it, but it was a gift last year. And
cool. Yeah.
Could not stop reading it.
I'm sure your wife does your wife appreciate that you're in that, because you mentioned you talk to strangers too much.
Guess who got it for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Perfect. Makes sense. Full circle moment there. Awesome. And then the other book?
The other one's a podcast. It's what a millennial answer. My book is a podcast. The Economics of Everyday Things from Freakonomics. They take a 20 or 30-minute episode, and it's great insight into the mundane industries or sectors that we probably don't think about all the time, but how those industries view the world. And they go everything from how used golf balls get sold, truffles, self-storage, mobile home parks, all of these subsectors of society that I have never given two thoughts to. And within 25 minutes, I become a overnight expert. It's great.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds really. It's amazing what can be $1 billion industry. I saw the other day there was a lady I saw on Instagram that she was a billionaire from eyelash, doing eyelashes. I don't know what it was, but some kind of kit for eyelashes. $1 billion.
What are we doing with our lives?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very cool. That's it. I'm gonna have to check that one out. So it's the same authors as Freakonomics, right? Is that or the
It's
same?
the Freakonomics Network. Yeah.
Yeah, that group. Yeah, gotcha. Very cool. Excellent, Graham. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed the conversation, and all the best with the new endeavors, and wishing you so much success.
Thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Great to chat.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care.